You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello and welcome to the Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about uncertainty in our life. And when we just feel like we're lost, we don't know what we're doing in life, we're afraid of making the wrong decision, maybe we're dealing with health challenges that have no answers and we're struggling to figure out what's wrong. Just that uncertainty feeling where you just don't feel like you have control in your life. That's what we're going to tackle today. And I know, I'm raising my hand, we have all been there. We've all felt that moment where we're just out of control. Things are uncertain and we just don't know what to do next. So this is what I want you to call in. The number again is 800-333-0001. I'll be with you to talk it out and see if we can get you on path to taking action so that you bring control back into your life. Also, we're going to have our inspirational guest coming up in our next segment, Nicole Moore. She was actually in a shark attack situation, believe it or not. I mean, I grew up watching Jaws, terrified me of the ocean, but she actually lived, she survived it, and today she's actually an advocate for sharks. So how did she make that switch? So you want to hear her story and how she overcame uncertainty of the water, yet today she loves it. So we also want to make sure that you're supported with this topic beyond today's show. So if you need more resources, or even if you have a story that you'd like to share with our community, I want to make sure you email us at connect@livingfullout.com. That's connect@livingfullout.com, and we'll make sure to get in touch with you and get you the resources that you need. And lastly, if you want to hear today's show again, go to livingfullout.com. All of our episodes will be waiting there for you so you can get reinvigorated and inspired on a daily basis. So I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hey,
hi,
how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Well, of course. What's going on? How can we help you?
So my question today is, I just started a full-time job kind of recently in New York City, and I've been struggling to make time for the daily tasks I need to do, like going to the gym, going food shopping, getting laundry done, things like that. And I was wondering if you had any advice of how to get those things done on top of working a 9-hour day.
Yeah, I get that. And the 9-hour day, that may or may not include transportation getting there, right? It's just
exactly.
A long day. Now, are you like a weekday warrior? You work Monday through Friday, though, and you have weekends off?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. So here's what you really want to take on: scheduling. It is not exciting. I know people are like, I don't want to schedule. That sounds so restricting. But you're actually going to get a lot more freedom from that. And even in my own life, like my day starts with calls and coaching and all that at 7 a.m. Pacific. There's days that I get up at 4:30 a.m., not because I love it, but because it gives me Nancy time, gives me workout time before the phones start ringing at 7 a.m. my time. So what you need to do is figure out, when are you at your best? Are you more of a morning person or more of an evening person? And depending on which way you go, because again, I'm not an evening person since I get up so early, I'm a morning person, you want to figure out where you can find that extra time for yourself in the weekday to do working out, to, do laundry, catch up with people. And then the weekend is really where you're going to want to play some catch up. But what would you say? Are you more of a morning person or an evening person?
I think I'm definitely more of an evening person.
Okay. And so when you actually get home, the day is done, you're at home base, what time is that, would you say?
It's about 5:45, 6 o'clock.
Okay. And so give yourself even extra time. Okay. Round up to say, 6:30. Okay. Time to just sit down, veg out for half a second. Then you want to get yourself from 6:30 to 6:45 to 7 to the gym. You want to get in like an hour workout. Now that's 8. Maybe you're home by 8:30. Have a quick bite to eat. Now it's 9. But see, you just want to schedule it out, and you want to make sure you put in the transportation time to get from A to B to C. But if you do that, you're not going to feel as though you're missing out. And also, I'll say one other thing. Be the protector of your time. I'm sure you want to do great at this job. And I'm sure when people say, can you help me with this? You always say yes. But sometimes you have to hold to your boundaries. And you don't have to justify why you have to leave the office. They don't know if it's a dinner engagement or a date at the gym for you to work out. But when you have to go, you have to go. Keep to that schedule. Isn't that you're being rude or not being a team player? But people respect schedules. If they don't know you have a schedule or somewhere to be, and you're just like, I don't want to help you, that's a different thing. But if they know that you have a commitment, they'll generally, look at that in a positive light. Okay?
Well, that all sounds great. Thank you very much.
Well, you're very welcome. Good luck with that schedule. I'm sure it'll give you a lot more freedom. So thank you so much for calling in.
All right. Thanks again. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye. Again, I've said it on several shows lately. Even my coaching clients are like, Nancy, how do I get freedom back in my life? How do I get out of uncertainty? I'm telling you, that schedule is really a winner if you can find one that works for you. And again, reach out to us. We can help you with that. Now I'm getting word from our producer that we have another caller on the line. We're going to go say hello. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, thank you for calling in. How can we help you today?
I'm a college student, and it's hard for me to balance my work, my school, and my social life. And I wanted to know, how could I work all of that together without deducting anything and still not being so tired?
You make me tired even hearing you ask the question. That's a lot. That's a lot to pack in, right?
Yeah.
And I think the first step comes with acknowledging what's on your plate. Really write it all down. Like if you consider this next week, what are all the things you have to do? The have to do commitments, like we have to go to work to make money. We have to go to a doctor's visit for our health, right? And then there's the list of things that you want to do. Your wish list. I'd like to do laundry. I'd like to go to happy hour with a friend. Okay? And you want to list all those things out. But then you want to organize your schedule, kind of prioritize. So all those have to do's have to be at the top. And then all the want to do's would be the next layer. And then you have to evaluate just based upon who you are, because nobody knows you better than you. You know how much sleep you need. You know if you're a comfort food eater or somebody who eats food to kind of replenish their energy. You know who in your life that you need to talk to on a daily basis, maybe as a sounding board or to get that extra rejuvenation, right? Because some people just naturally need to say hi to certain people every day, right?
Yeah.
So think about all that. Just prioritize. And if you do that, that's going to give you a lot of clarity. And then piggybacking on what I told the last caller, hopefully you heard that one too, putting together a schedule and really sticking to that schedule. And I want you to also know that a lot of the I want to do's, like I want to go see a friend, those are great things. But look at them kind of like rewards rather than restrictions. A lot of times when we make a commitment to a friend and we know we're saying yes, even though we're overcommitted already, now that pleasure, that fun of seeing that person feels like an obligation. Have you ever felt that way? Because you overcommitted,
yes.
Right? So the pleasure things in our life, seeing a friend, going to the gym. I actually like doing laundries. That's actually a pleasure for me. So whatever your pleasures are, you don't want to attach a negative feeling to that. So consider all that. And I think if you do that, you will find the freedom that you need to do it all. But don't be afraid to say no. Sometimes people think no is like rude or mean or whatever, but no is like a not right now. I just can't right now. It doesn't have to be a firm black and white situation. It can be a lot of gray, a lot of color in life. Okay?
Okay.
But if you just put yourself out there and live on purpose, I promise you it'll all work out. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for calling in. I love that everybody is talking about how do I bring freedom into my life? How do I bring control into my life? Because that's what we're talking about today, right? The uncertainty, the feeling like we're out of control, we're overcommitted. And it is possible to step out of a place of feeling uncertain into a place of feeling secure. It just starts with you taking action, whether that be a schedule, whether that be calling into the show, getting an accountability partner. I have those as well. Whatever you might need to keep you on track. So I want to make sure that you stay with us. Coming up next, we're going to have our inspirational guest, Nicole Moore, attacked by a shark yet survived it. An amazing story you don't want to miss. So stay with us. We'll be coming right back after this break. This is the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari. Stay with us.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I'd like kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure.
Tomorrow?
Let's check with Mom. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak. Just make sure you have everything.
Yep. Can we walk home?
How about a taxi? 233 North Maple, please.
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood.
Best day ever.
A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Don't you wish that getting your child to eat right, move more, and spend less time in front of a screen could be as easy as pushing a button? It might not be that simple, but you do have more power than you know. And you can maximize that power with proven strategies, tips, and tools from the National Institutes of Health's We Can, or Ways to Enhance Children's Activity and Nutrition program. We Can offers all kinds of resources, including fun recipes and activities the family can do together to show you the way to live a healthier lifestyle. We're not saying it's easy. We are saying that it can be done. Take the first step today. Call 1-866-359-3226 for a free We Can Parents Handbook. And be sure to visit the We Can website at wecan.nhlbi.nih.gov for free information too. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
He knew exactly what to do.
I had no clue what I was doing.
We set up the rocket.
Hit ignition.
And then
nothing. Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Then out of nowhere, the rocket launched into the air.
The rocket did get into the air.
I've never seen anything fly so high.
And then crashed into a kite. Look out! And then the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about uncertainty, kind of those moments where we're just not quite sure what we should do, or kind of that weary feeling, and making that decision and getting on a strong path to achieve our goals and dreams. And the thing is our inspirational guest today, Nicole Moore, is no stranger to uncertainty after surviving a shark attack. Now, I grew up in the Jaws generation, so this story terrifies me. This is like my worst nightmare come true. But yet, she is truly a miracle, as you will learn in her story, that she is here with us today due to the injuries that she got from the sharks. So I'd like to welcome Nicole to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Nancy.
I love that you giggle at the beginning. I'm personally, my palms are sweaty. This story, I tell you, this is honestly like you lived my worst nightmare. I mean, somebody can kidnap me. Someone can do a lot of things to me, but that shark attack thing, that is scary. But
I hear that from a lot of people, amazingly enough.
Yeah. And so here you are. Now, it's such an amazing story because we've all been you. There you were in beautiful Cancun, Mexico, celebrating a friend's 50th birthday. And, you just played volleyball, getting ready to go scuba dive. And like so many of us, you're just hanging out in the shallow water, rinsing off. We've all done that until you felt a bump. You didn't know what it was. Could have been a child, could have been something. But did you kind of get that EBGB feeling that something was weird?
Immediately, as soon as I felt something touch me under the water, my heart sank, and I just totally, as you put it, got the EBGBs and looked around saying, what was that touched me?
Well, I know there were, prior to getting that bump, there were some gentlemen, lifeguards or whoever they were on wave runners trying to yell to you, but they were yelling in Spanish. It's kind of one of those things where it's like a beautiful environment, yet chaos, and then this EBGB bump. Did you decide, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back inside?
You're going to go back in what? I'm sorry?
Did you say to yourself, I'm going to go back in to the beach? Or did you stay there?
Oh, when I noticed these guys yelling?
Mm-hmm.
When I noticed these guys on their wave runners running, that's exactly what I realized something was wrong, and I turned around and I started to walk back into shore, and that's when I felt that bump.
Mm-hmm. And so as you were walking back, when did the first bite occur?
Immediately after that bump. To me, it felt like a minute or so later, but it was probably just seconds later that I got my first bite to my left upper thigh.
And did you feel the pain in that moment?
No, I don't recall feeling any pain at all. It was total fight or flight, but I do remember the very first thought I had, which was not, I hadn't seen the shark, I hadn't seen the shark's body, I hadn't seen a fin, but instinctively I knew exactly what it was, and I was thinking in my head, sharks like blood, and I need to get out of this water.
Mm. I can picture that. I mean, the water around you starting to get all red and bloody, and you can't feel this injury, so you start to walk in, but then another bite occurred. How did that happen?
Right. When I was trying to make my way back to the shore, which wasn't happening because of the severe injuries to my leg that, as you said, I couldn't see or I wasn't aware of at the time. So I was trying to make my way back in, using my arms to try to pull myself through the waves to the shore. And before I knew it, the shark came back and swallowed my entire left arm in its jaws. Its upper eyes, like eye to eye, face to face with me, just inches from my nose, and its bottom jaw right below my elbow, and just swallowed my whole arm.
Mm. And at that point, what did you do? I mean, is anybody helping you? What were your instincts to try to get out of that situation?
My instinct was survive. It was just full fight or flight. And in looking at this shark, it was thrashing, just trying to bring me down under the water or trying to tear my arm off. I'm not sure, but it was very aggressively thrashing. And no one was getting into the water to help me. At the time, I was on my own, and I instinctively pulled up my right hand and punched the shark right in its nose. And fortunately for me, it opened up its jaws and went away.
Now, I'm glad personally to know that, because I've heard that before, hit the shark on the nose or between the eyes. But until you're in that situation, you don't know if that's a myth or that actually works. But
it actually works. In my scuba diving training, they teach you eyes, nose, or gills. If a shark comes at you, get it in its eyes or its nose or in its gills. And again, I'm not sure if that's where that came from or if it was just instinct, because this threat was attached to my arm and it was just get it off of me.
That is incredible. Now, I know at that point, the shark did go away, but you were still stuck here. And thankfully, one of the gentlemen with jet skis came back around, and he did grab your other arm, which would be your right arm, and kind of dragged you into shore. But even that must have been painful. Here you have all these wounds, and now you're literally being dragged in on your face into the beach.
Yes, but again, I didn't feel any of that pain. I was just so relieved the minute I was able to reach this man's hand that was trying to help save me and get me out of the water. And all I was focused on was not letting go of this hand, even though I was exhausted. And I don't recall feeling any pain as they dragged me up on the beach. But absolutely 100%, that was not very good for the wounds that I had.
Do you ever wonder sometimes the what if? What if he had not come around? Would that shark have come back again?
In that water, I was terrified of exactly that. I kept looking around, not knowing where was the shark, or where were the sharks? Are there more? Is it going to come back? Are they going to come back and get me? Are they going to finish me off? It was very terrifying in that moment, and I was certainly afraid of the what ifs.
Now, the unfortunate thing is when you were finally on the beach, and we've all been in a situation from time to time where there is something that happens, and a lot of people are looky-loos and they don't know what to do. Unfortunately, great. The good thing is, everybody, just so you know, she's a nurse, so she had some medical training to even though she was her own patient. But everybody was just looking at you. Nobody was stepping in.
Correct. When I was finally able to get turned over and focus my eyes, the first thing that I saw were people just in shock at what they were seeing, just mouths hanging open, eyes wide, and just horrified. And no one was doing anything. I think they were just kind of stuck in a stupor. And as you said, I am a nurse, and I thought, all right, let's sit up and see what everyone is staring at. Let's triage my own wounds.
And this is where the story actually gets to me very interesting, because here you were your own patient. I want you to stay with us, Nicole, because we have to take a break. But I want everybody to stay tuned, because you could be one of those people looking at someone like Nicole one day. So what she's about to tell us in the next segment is not just inspiring, but it's educational for all. So you never know when you're going to be in this moment. So Nicole, stay with us. And everybody, when we come back, we're going to be talking about when we're in a moment like this, and then a moment of uncertainty. What do? How do you heal yourself? How do you get back on track? So stay with us. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow, right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back. My name is Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about times in our life when we're in a place of uncertainty, where we don't have all the answers. We know that we have to step up, be a leader in our life. And our inspirational guest today, Nicole Moore, boy, was she a leader. She was her own advocate, her own leader, her own nurse. After being attacked by a shark when on a vacation in Cancun, in the last segment, she shared with us all about the attack and the injuries that she faced. But when she finally got to shore and she had all these injuries, she's in shock and pain, everybody was just kind of looking at her. Everybody was frozen. And we can all picture that moment. What do you do? You know, she was a nurse, but no one, maybe other people weren't. Nicole, I want you to take us back to that minute because honestly, you really stepped up. I mean, you were the nurse for your own self, basically.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to have that knowledge and skill to do that, and the wits about me to be able to do that. I did look around at all of these people, and when I sat up and tried to take stock of my own injuries, tried to triage my own injuries, I realized the severity of it and laid back down. And I have to say, it wasn't, as much as I was involved in it, it wasn't me that saved my life. It was the other people. The minute that I had noticed everyone standing around, I said to them, "You need to help me." And all of a sudden, it was like a light went off in everyone's head, and they realized, oh, yeah, we have to do something. And these people, these innocent bystanders that were there, selflessly gave themselves and put themselves at risk and started to throw towels and shirts and their own hands on my bare flesh that was just bleeding. I was bleeding out, and they tried to stop the bleeding to help me survive.
And that's such an amazing moment of community and people helping each other out. And again, it's a very special opportunity for all to have that moment. Now, I know eventually help did come. The ambulance came and they were kind of taking you off, but it was that, even that was kind of a strange experience. It took a long time.
Oh, it took a tremendous amount of time. I was very near death on that beach. It took everything within me to try to survive. I wasn't able to breathe. I was still bleeding. I was weak. And these poor gentlemen that came to get me and were able to finally put me on a backboard and start to carry me across this Cancun beach, they were so exhausted trudging across this hot, heavy sand that they actually had to stop, set me down, take a quick break, and pick me up and keep on going.
And at that point, you're like, can we go a little faster? But I mean, I could only imagine. And now, when you finally got to the hospital, and here you are in Mexico, so we don't know. I mean, you had no idea what vicinity you were going to, what the accommodations were going to be. Mm-hmm. What did you find when you got there? Did people just jump in and start helping, or was there resistance?
Definitely resistance. Unfortunately, when they got me to the trauma room, they wheeled me in, they transferred me to the trauma table. The entire trauma team was ready and waiting and all gowned and gloved and had visors and waiting, but no one was doing anything again. Instead, there was a conversation ensuing between someone that was standing behind my head and someone by my feet that was in a suit. And I didn't understand what was happening and why they weren't helping me. I was losing my battle to stay alive, and I was fearful. And I heard the word aseguración in Spanish. And I don't speak Spanish, but I do speak Italian, and asegurazione is insurance. And I realized they were talking about insurance. And I was wearing this wee little tiny bikini. I wasn't carrying my insurance card, so I started to panic and wonder what was going to happen. But in the end, there was a doctor that advocated for me and said, well, we have to do something. And fortunately for me, that's all it took for the nurses to kick into action and start to get to work on saving my life.
Wow. And thankfully, you also had a friend who did have to pay, $20,000 also to kind of ensure that they do surgery, that they take care of you. I mean, that's the last thing you need to worry about when you're fighting for your life. And here you were having to, worry about that. Now, this is what I find to be so interesting. I got to tell everybody, when Nicole told me this, I was in awe. They actually found the skin from your thigh that the shark had bitten. How did that happen?
From what I have learned since then was that those guys that were on the jet skis or on the wave runners that were trying to yell at me, they were actually chasing these two sharks that had made it into the shallows further down the shore. And they were chasing these sharks. They were aggravating them. And these sharks were so agitated that when they encountered me and they bumped into me, there was a very aggressive attack. And they bit this flap off of my leg, which went right from my knee to my hip, and spit it out. It wasn't food. It was just a total act of agitation. And so he spit it out.
Wow. And that says a lot right there. Sharks are not there to eat us. They aren't really, we aren't really what they want. But
correct.
He bit you, he spit it out.
Jaws was a movie, not a reality.
Thank you for telling my heart and my mind that. I'll take that assurance every step through this story because it still makes me nervous. My sweaty palms are still there for you. Now, I know that the hospital in Mexico was a bit of a struggle, and obviously they were not as attentive to your injuries as they could have been. I'm going to leap our story to when you do make it out of Mexico and you get back to Canada, because that's really where you were finally able to take stock of the injuries and what had happened. Can you share with us about what you learned?
When we got back to Canada and the first time the surgical team opened up the wound or the dressing to my leg, it was the first time, and this is 5 days after my attack, the first time that I had actually seen the damage done close up. And it was just, what we saw was just horrendous, and what was left and what was left undone in Mexico, we realized the severity of it. And then she took apart the bandage to my arm, and she was terrified. And by she, I mean my surgeon, the lead of my surgical team, and rushed me off to the OR immediately to start my very first operation in Canada, which was about 10 hours long. And she woke me up in the morning after this long surgery out of recovery and told me, I don't know how you are awake or even alive, but if you had arrived 24 to 48 hours, you would be dead. That's how sick I was and how grave the situation was, both to my arm, to my leg, and to my, at that point, because I was so infected, to my internal organs.
Now, what was the final resolve to your injuries in terms of where you are today, and in terms of your leg, your arm, all of that?
So I am missing most of my left upper thigh. So I'm missing 2 out of the 4 quadricep muscles in the front part of my leg, and then 2 out of the 3 hamstring muscles in the back of my leg on my left thigh. I have since had a flap put over top of it, but I am missing those muscles and forever will. So I had to learn to re-walk, rebalance, re-everything. And eventually my left arm was amputated above the elbow. And today where I am is absolutely fantastic and wonderful, and I don't care about my injuries. I feel very blessed to have the life that I have been given.
Well, and I just want to touch on a few things here, because again, your story is so relatable that I'm sure going through these injuries, like so many, you're faced with people staring at you. You're faced with living in a body that you may not even recognize, that you have to get used to, especially I know with your husband, that was a bit of a challenge. What can you share with us about that journey? That
I did learn very quickly how, although I was quite happy to be alive and I didn't care about my own scars, that how my scars and my injuries did affect other people. I learned that, and I was pretty surprised at it. I didn't realize that people could be that mean, or that just how human nature, how humans could just make others feel so alienated. But I was okay, and I was strong at accepting that, with the exception, as you said, was my husband. It was very difficult for me, although I was accepting of my own body, to be intimate with my husband, because I didn't think that he would be comfortable with this, that he would have to be forced to look at those scars. And that took a lot of time on my part. He, of course, is fantastic and wonderful and accepting, and that is no longer an issue. But it took a lot.
Just kind of getting used to your own skin. And there's so much to your story that we can't even get into all of it today. I know you wrote a book. What is the title of your book so people can look that up?
It's called Shark Assault, An Amazing Story of Survival. And I need to preempt that I didn't write it. Someone else wrote the book. I just gave him the information. He did a wonderful job with it. But Shark Assault, An Amazing Story of Survival by Peter Jennings.
Oh, I love that. I love that you survived. I'm still sweaty and nervous on my end here. I know this whole interview has been frightening for me, but you give me hope that I will become less scared of sharks. I hope everybody listening, Jaws was just a movie, right? And these sharks are loving creatures. They're big, they're bold, they're aggressive, but sometimes in life, we as people are big, bold, and aggressive, So what makes us any different? I think that your story was so on point in so many ways, and I really appreciate you so much for being on today's show, because, again, you have been where not a lot of us have in this situation.
And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I wish all of you in the U.S. there a fantastic and wonderful life.
Awesome. Say hello to Canada for us.
Thank you. I will.
All right. Have a great one. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Bye-bye, Nancy.
Bye. Gosh, I'm telling you, if you could feel the palm of my hands right now, they are nervous and they are sweaty. But the thing is, what I love about Nicole's story is she went into survival mode, that fight or flight mode. We've all been there. It may be when you're in a car accident, what do? It may be a shark attack. It may be a breakup. It may be losing a job. But just remember that you have the ability to take a time when things are so uncertain, out of control, you feel lost, you feel like concerned, and maybe even a life-threatening situation. You have the ability to get yourself back on track, be that leader in your life. And also the people around you, just like those people on the beach, they went into action to help Nicole. Think of all the family and friends in your life and the people who don't even know you yet who want to be there for you. You just have to reach out your hand and you have to ask. That's how you get out of a place of uncertainty. So stay with us. Again, we're taking your calls, getting you into action, living your life full out. I am Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show, and we'll be taking your calls when we come right back. Stay tuned.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
The following message is about Medicaid and CHIP, free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. Enrollment is open year-round.
Hey, voice lady, give me the mic.
Okay.
Hey, DJ, let's switch up the music. That's better. So listen up, moms and dads out there. There are these programs called Medicaid and CHIP. They offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids. Things like doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and shots are covered. All the stuff that keeps kids like me healthy and in charge.
So, as you can tell, a covered kid is a confident kid. And it means confident parents, too. To learn more about affordable health coverage for your family, visit healthcare.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669.
Yep, you could do something big for your family today because enrollment is open year-round.
This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And Sophia.
They're going to jump out of trees. You can't stop them. They'll go down the slide head first. They'll make parachutes out of sheets. They'll balance on things that are impossible to balance on, like the back of a couch or a windowsill or a scooter seat. They'll run with sharp objects. They'll run into walls. They'll climb things that won't hold their weight. They'll put their fingers in places where they could get smashed. They'll drive their tricycles down steep hills. They'll bounce balls off their faces. They'll step on each other. They'll jump on each other. They'll invent whole new ways to put themselves in jeopardy. But one of the most dangerous things kids will do happens while they're sitting perfectly still. Kids who ride in a car without a booster seat are much more likely to suffer serious or fatal injury during a crash than kids in boosters. But amazingly, 80% of all kids who need them aren't in them. After a toddler seat and until they're 4'9", booster kids, and don't let them down.
Go to boosterseat.gov to learn more about the importance of boosters. A message from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hey, Nick Cannon here. So we all know we've got a lot of talent in America. But unfortunately, there's something else we've got way too much of. Childhood hunger. 17 million kids struggle with it in this country. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gather surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
We're your pets, and this song's dedicated to those people who don't have health insurance yet. Enroll, we say. We want you to be okay.
Health insurance is now affordable and covers prescriptions, hospitalizations, and preventive care. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn more.
And take care, people.
Brought to you by Get Covered America and the Ad Council.
When life is uncertain and you're not sure what to do, you don't want to make a mistake, you don't feel supported, you're lost as to which direction to go, always remember that the answer is inside you. The ability to survive, to take action, that's it within you. You always want to trust yourself, believe in yourself. That's what it means to live full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
All right, here we are. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out show, and today we're talking about uncertainty in our life and how do we get ourselves back on track? How do we feel safe again? How do we know it's going to be okay? I'll be honest with y'all. It might not. You know, life is a game, but it's meant to be played. It's a miracle. We're all given that breath when we're born, and then the breath is gone when we pass. But every moment in between should be lived, even in the times when we feel lonely, when we feel uncertain, when we feel lost. Those are moments where you can learn about yourself. You can find out those survival skills, the stamina that you have, the true strength that you have. I actually embrace those moments in my life. When I hit a bumpy road or I fall down, it's when you pick yourself up again. That's living full out. That's when you're living on purpose. So I want you to keep in mind those uncertain moments. They're moments of gold in personally developing and moving yourself into a direction where you feel authentic and really proud of who you are. So let's keep that in mind. Now we're going to go to the phone line, say hello to a caller. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out show.
Hi, thank you.
Well, thank you.
So, I haven't been feeling comfortable at my job. I thought this is what I wanted to do, but honestly, the pressure's been a lot lately. Like, my boss is always demanding things in a super short time period, so it's impossible for me to do my best on each one. I'm afraid to leave my job and, feel like a quitter, but I'm worried, that I won't be able to find a job after. So I don't know, what should I do?
Well, let me ask you a question. If the situation was better than it is now, would you keep your job, or do you just really don't like it anyway?
I think that I'd want to keep it. I like what I'm doing, but I think it's just the boss.
Okay.
Really making it hard on me.
Now, does your boss have a boss?
Yes.
Okay. Now, all you can ever do in life is speak your truth, right? And all you can do is confess, put yourself out there, not scream and shout, but express yourself. And so you want to find, first of all, the best method to do that for your boss. Could be a phone call, could be in person, could be an email. I wouldn't do text, too short, but I would find the best method. And document that you've reached out to that person. So that's why actually sometimes email or a letter is better, because you can document the date of it. A conversation can't be documented. And just really put out there how you feel, that you want to be a part of the team, you'd love to keep your job, but there's some disconnect, but yet you're proactively trying to get it back on track. And see if that boss responds or does any action back. If not, you have the full right to go above that boss to their boss. It isn't that you're cutting that person out. It's just that as an employee of any company, the owner all the way down, they want their employees to be happy. And if they're not, and you're proactively trying to work with your boss, well, that should be documented, and that should go above your boss to his or her boss. Okay? Once you've done that, once you've made that leap and now you're up to the higher boss, if you're still not getting anywhere, then that tells you, as much as I love this job, I need to transition. And don't be afraid of what's out there. The uncertainty of, will I get a job? Will anybody hire me? Everybody goes through that. Will I find the love of my life? Will I, right? Will I ever, live my dream? But if you live in that place of fear, the concern of will I ever, then you're never going to take action. There could be a great job waiting for you, but if you stay paused and paralyzed where you are right now, you'll never get it. So that's when you just want to start doing a little bit of overtime in your life, in the evenings, on the weekends, put out some resumes, even go door to door. If there's a company you'd like to work for, march on in there. Say, hi, you don't know me, but I'd love to work here. People love that energy. Okay. But I really firmly believe if you do all those steps and again, document things as you go, you'll be great. It's just taking action. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And keep us posted. Let us know how it goes.
I will. I'm feeling
all right. Have a great day. Thank you for calling in.
You too.
I love that she asked that question because the thing is, in life, sometimes we are afraid of, taking that leap of faith and what's going to come around the corner. Will there be a job waiting for us? If I leave this relationship, will anybody want me? These are all common fears that we all have, but that's why we're here each week with you, to pull you out of that place of uncertainty and put you into a mode of confidence. That's what living full out is about. Now, to live full out, it's not a snap, right? Because every day there's going to be those unknowns, those curveballs. So just wake up every day knowing that the unexpected is going to knock on your door. But if you do that and you do your best to live on purpose, surround yourself with good people, I promise you the uncertainties will fade away. They're never going to go away, but they will be toned down so they're not controlling your life. Thank you so much for listening to our show today. Our entire Living Full Out family appreciates you. We got Roger and Rich and Riley and Bailey and Kristen and everybody in the studio who's dedicated to assisting you in living your life full out. We'll be back next week. And until then, go out there, put uncertainty aside. Know that through schedules, through support of others, you absolutely can live a life full out. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.